end of the day, it did end up with another defeat. As much as maybe it wasn't a bad day in terms of how we applied ourselves and all that kind of stuff. But talk about yesterday. We ended up another defeat to a Liverpool side we seem to end up losing to a lot. When I saw the lineup, it's pretty much the lineup we predicted here, except for, again, Bergvall on the left wing. I don't really understand that, to be honest. I guess he did it against PSG and it didn't do too badly, but he did it against Fulham and Bergvall looked lost in that game. I think this game he was okay himself, but he wasn't on the left, was he? He was kind of basically a centre mid anyway. So I thought that was a peculiar decision from the start to do that when you got Tel and Odegaard, or maybe even Moani you could put there with Richie up front. So I thought that was a peculiar decision, but the game started all right for the first half an hour. It wasn't, again, to be honest, as much as it started okay, I think it's more an improvement on a very low bar rather than a really good performance. I think we were decent. Again, a lot of sloppy passes, a lot of passes out of play, even in the first half an hour. There was some nervous energy from the team, I felt, even though the fans were cheering them on. There was a lot of aimless passes, but you have to say, on the face of things, we did contain Liverpool, albeit I thought their passing was a bit crisper and a bit sharper than ours. We did contain them, and we probably had a couple of good chances with Moani at the beginning. So first half an hour or so, I wouldn't say I wasn't like amazed, but it was okay. It wasn't like dreadful, like it maybe has been in other games. But it all changed, didn't it, with that red card? And for me, Xavi, I love Xavi, and he puts a lot of passion into the games, and we've seen it, haven't we, in previous games. He loves a good slide challenge. He is a bit of an aggressive player, as much as he's known for being a lightweight attacking midfielder. He does like to fly into challenges, doesn't he? And I have felt, to be honest, this kind of thing has been coming with Xavi, just a red card in general, in terms of how over-exuberant he can get in challenges. However, what I would say is, I don't think that this was this challenge in this specific challenge. And I felt, watching it live, I thought it wasn't a good challenge when it first happened. Watching it again, I do think he's a bit unlucky. I don't think there's any malice. He doesn't actually go into it with much force. I don't think he intends to do what he did, but unfortunately intent isn't really mattered when it comes to deciding whether it's a red card or not. I feel it should have stuck with the referee's decision, in my opinion. I don't think it met the threshold of a clear and obvious error. I think he's a bit unlucky, Xavi, in the sense that he kind of he put a big lunge in, but it wasn't like a forceful lunge, and he ended up catching Van Dijk unintentionally. But as much as I don't think it was a red, and I think, well, put it this way, I think if the referee gives a red on the pitch, I don't really have any complaints. With the fact that VAR got involved, I think that's where, again, it sets a dangerous precedent with those things, because we're going to see challenges like that through the season where they're not going to be given red cards, and it's going to lead to a lack of inconsistency. I think it should have just stuck with the on-field decision of yellow card. I don't think there was any need for VAR to get involved. But I don't really have any sympathy for Xavi, because he's nowhere near the ball. He's nowhere near even challenging for the ball. It's a really silly, needless challenge and mistake from him, and he only really has himself to blame for what happened. So as much as I do think the red was a bit harsh on the day, I don't really have any sympathy with Xavi, and he ended up costing us. So I'll start from the beginning. When you said about Bergvall on the left, the one thing I will say is, obviously with the Xavi sending off, we never know. Maybe there's a plan to rotate Xavi and Bergvall. So Xavi could have gone to the left and Bergvall could have gone inside, should there have been a tactical change. But obviously we'll never know. As for the red card, for me it's red card all day long. And the reason I say that, I mean, first of all, before we do that, what's really pissed me off is Van Dijk did that to Solanke. Van Dijk did that in the Champions League last year, which is a much more horrific challenge, both of them, than Xavi's. Absolutely nothing. Nothing. Spurs have ridden their luck in a few games this season. Bentancur, I think Sammy was saying against Chelsea. I thought it was against United, but it was Chelsea. Romero, we did watch along for Brentford.
There's been a few tackles where we're like, oh, that once you've seen the replay, oh, that's a bit naughty, that we could be in trouble, and somehow we've got away with it. Xavi Simons, that tackle, I agree with you, no malice, but with VAR now, putting your studs up on someone's Achilles, you're in trouble. You are asking the referee and VAR to make a decision. And the worst thing about it is we've had a habit of doing this recently where we are giving these kind of fouls away in the most unnecessary areas, whether it be for a free kick in a dangerous area for them or deep in their own half where the ball's going nowhere. There's no pressure, there's no drama, yet there's a little bit of a lash out. Now, I agree that there was no malice in it, but you can't do that. In the modern... If that had been the other way around and someone had done that to a Spurs player, every single fan would be going, that's a red card all day long. All day long. And to me, it's a red card. He's been silly. We got greeted with yet another apology from a player on their Instagram. I'm getting quite frustrated. I think we all are, of just hearing, we're sorry. You get paid to do your talking on the pitch, not apologise afterwards. And it just annoys me that we never know what would happen 11v11.
Yeah.
We never would have known whether... And I think we were doing better than Liverpool at that time. There was nothing...
I agree with you, but I would say it was more two poor teams rather than one team
that part I don't dispute. But we were in that game and it looked like we had a plan to get them on the counter-attack. And there are a few occasions where we could have created something, but the final pass was wrong or whatever. And as soon as it went down to 11 minutes, especially with Xavi being one of our main creators, if not the creator, it was always going to be hard work. But it's, for me, a red card all day long, and it was just a reckless moment.
Fair enough. And then I thought, as the game was going on, we were down to 10 men. Obviously, the game then set into the pattern of Liverpool going to have a lot of possession, we're going to have to counter-attack, and we didn't really press. And that's obviously going to happen when you're down a man. You can't really do what you were doing before. I thought we actually did quite well for majority of the end from the half. You know, we didn't concede too many chances. I think Wirtz had a chance, didn't he, which Vicario saved.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I don't think Vicario had much to do. Going into the second half, I thought similar pattern. Like Liverpool were dominating without actually doing a lot, and Tottenham actually looked fairly comfortable. But like it seemed to happen in this game, we just find an amazing moment to shoot ourselves in the foot.
Yeah.
Just as we're looking okay and comfortable, we shoot ourselves in the foot.
Yep.
And unfortunately, Romero in this occasion was the one. I've watched it back now, and Romero has the ball, under no pressure. No one's pressing him. He takes the ball on his weaker foot. To be fair to Romero, he is very good at these passes directly through the centre of the pitch between the lines. He's very good at them. So I'm not usually one to criticise him for trying a pass like that. But in this situation, he's got, I think, 2 or 3 men between him and Moani who he's trying to hit. He's on his left foot. He's trying to play a super accurate, very straight pass into Moani, kind of through ball-esque pass into him. I thought he was doing some of those passes really well in the first half. But why are you doing that on your left foot?
Correct.
When we're down to 10 men, when you're just playing major risk? It's a brainless moment from him. Like, if you're going to do that, get on your strong foot. You're not even under pressure. Get on your strong foot and then try and play a ball like that. He's not left-footed. I don't remember, to be honest, too many times he's used his left foot that much. So I think he is quite a right-footed player. So I don't understand why he would try that on his weaker foot. That kind of pass, which is going to take a lot of accuracy. It's going to have to weight it perfectly just to get it in between the lines. And he's asking for trouble.
Yep.
And obviously that moment happens. 1, 2, 3 passes later, we're 1-0 down. And just as we're looking comfortable with 10 men, I think Romero, he's the captain, he's the leader of the team. Like, there is not any excuse for that kind of pass in that situation in the way he did it. Yeah,
you like you said, look at it, and the ball's coming to Romero at a decent pace before he passes it. Surely he could see if this pass mussed up, Liverpool were like 3-on-1 with us. It was Van der Ven trying to scramble back. It was a rush of blood to the head. And like we said, he is known for being the best passer and bringing it out. But there is a time and a place for everything. Like I said, when you're down to 10 men, and how many times we come out recently in the second half, we did it away at the Filth, We did it at Forest, where we've been so reckless in the first 10 minutes of the second half, where you just want to keep it calm. We're down to 10 men, keep going for the counter-attack, and he's just gone for a Hollywood ball, and it was the exact opposite. And like you said, 3 passes, and obviously Wirtz, who's been getting some slack for not contributing, gets an assist.
Yeah.
Isaac, whose only goal was in London at West Ham, now comes to Tottenham, gets his goal, which, let's face it, he took it very well.
He did, but it's classic Dr. Tottenham, isn't it?
Oh, it's classic, yeah.
Wirtz first assist for Liverpool. Isaac, gets back in amongst the goals. Just as any underperforming player, better hope they're coming up against Tottenham, don't they?
Mate, you just can't write this stuff. You just can't write this stuff. And do you know what? Like we said, how long have we been saying Dr. Tottenham? This isn't a Frank thing. This isn't an Ange thing. This isn't a Conte thing. This isn't a Nuno. This has been going on for years and years and years. We are the masters of our own downfall.
Mm-hmm. And look, at that point, you're thinking 1-0 down to 10 men. Not looking good for us, put it that way.
Yep.
To be fair to the team, again, didn't give up, kept going. Mawani had that moment where he makes a good run, hits the crossbar with an unlucky effort. And Tottenham, I'll give them credit, I'll give the team credit. They showed fight. They weren't giving up on the game, where a lot of teams 1-0 down and down to 10 men kind of accept defeat at that point. We didn't. But unfortunately we get hit with another sucker punch again about a minute or two after we hit the bar.
Yep.
Brennan's come on at this point as well, who I thought looked a lot better than in that second half than Kudus. I thought he was a bit more of a
100%.
threat. Kudus was just slowing the moves down. There was occasions where we're on the counter, he's got an opportunity to just go at his man, and he just didn't. He decided in those moments he's going to be conservative, when it's like, you're the guy we need on the ball, taking people on and being direct at this point. You're not going to get too many opportunities to attack when you're down to 10 men. So when you got them, you got to attack. You got to go for it. If you lose the ball, so be it. You get back in your shape, but you don't just be conservative. It doesn't help the team at this point. So I think that must have been frustrating. Frank, he takes him off, puts Johnson on, who looked a lot more of a threat. But then we get hit with another sucker punch, which for me I think was a foul on Romero, in my opinion. Watching it back, they get a bit of luck with Frimpong's cross getting deflected off Spence, who I thought had a brilliant game. Just that little bit of luck, it deflects off and just falls right to Ekitike. Not only does Ekitike foul Romero, but I actually think he miscues his header, and it still ends up in the back of the net somehow. So fair, look, gets a goal, but we saw at the beginning of the season, when we played West Ham away, didn't Romero have a goal disallowed for something a lot less than that?
I believe so, yeah.
In the first half.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yes.
Romero had
Yes,
a
I
goal
do.
from a corner.
Yes, I do now, yes.
Headed it in, and they disallowed it. Well, it wasn't even a foul. You watch it back, you're like, where's the foul? Here, there's a clear 2 hands on Ekitike, by Ekitike on Romero.
Yep.
Romero's going to win the header. He pushes him out the way, and apparently there's nothing wrong with it. Apparently VAR, I was in the stadium, so we don't know what the referees are doing, but apparently VAR didn't even take a look at it, albeit when we scored, they were looking at it for 2 minutes, even though there was nothing wrong with it. They're looking for some reason to disallow it. Yet with that one, they just brush over it. They didn't even consider the fact it was a foul. It looked to me, I think, again, we felt the right to be aggrieved. And the referee was just giving Liverpool decisions all day.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, when it comes to the referee, I hate when we sit here week after week, the ref was useless, the ref was this, the ref was that. Listen, it swings and roundabouts, isn't it? But I will say some of the decisions yesterday were so bizarre, and I actually thought from STK's header to begin with, I thought Vicario could have at least made an attempt to save it. But it wasn't to be. I'm not putting that on Vicario. It was a foul. It was a foul. Did Romero make more of it and made it look a bit more theatrical than it actually was? Maybe. But as we've been saying, when we're driving in, and I think everyone will be saying, and not just Spurs fans, it's the inconsistency of decisions now. It's bad. I mean, since VAR came in, I've heard a lot of people say it's not the technology, it's the people officiating it. When it came in and it was for clear and obvious errors. That's what we heard. It's clear and obvious that it's being used for more than clear and obvious errors. and the decisions are taken 30 seconds in one game, 2 minutes in another. I would love to get rid of VAR. I really would. I'd love to go back to the old days where you celebrate a goal, and if it's a marginally offside, so what? It's marginally offside. We all know they kind of even themselves out. I'm just sick to death of VAR being like this subplot and twist into modern day football. I do think it's a foul. Do you know what? I've even seen, I'm sure we might even have it when we do Twitter Reacts. There's an Arsenal fan that tweeted going, listen, I'm not far from a Spurs fan, but that refereeing performance was shambolic. And it weren't just Spurs fans saying it. It was a horrible, horrible refereeing performance. I do believe it was a foul. I can't believe they didn't look into it, especially after what we looked at with Xavi Simons. And it's a farce. It's a farce. But again, like you said, Mawani had that chart. The rub of the green just isn't going for us.
In terms of VAR intervening, I'm not even that mad if whether they did or they didn't. Like, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And I don't know whether that meets the threshold of clear and obvious or the high bar that we want, because for me, in a perfect world, that probably doesn't hit the high bar, because some fans think it's a foul, some fans think it's own. But all I'm saying is I think the referee made a wrong decision. I think he made a mistake. I think it is a foul on Romero, and that goal should have been disallowed on the pitch.
Yep.
The referee should have seen that. It was a very clear shove. You see a very clear action for Romero as well. So that definitely should have been a foul. In terms of VAR, I'd like VAR to have looked at it rather than just skimmed over it. I don't know if I feel that definitely should have been a VAR intervention, albeit I think it should have been a foul on Romero. So I think we can definitely feel aggrieved with that situation. So then you find yourself 2-0 down.
Let me just add to that very quickly before we do that. First of all, I think it's come to the point now where, as we've just said before, if we are to keep VAR, obviously I'd get rid of it if we could. We keep saying it's not the technology, it's the refs. I think we've got to the time now where in VAR you need a ref and a senior ex-player. A respectable senior ex-player that can say, whoa, whoa, whoa. You look at this as a ref, we look at this as a players, and come to some kind of joint decision, because the fact that the refs are doing this, and still to this day we don't have the handball rule, and when it all goes off, I think there needs to be some clarity there. But what I will say about this, what we need to add with this, is because of that, obviously Romero's actions afterwards and ways he demonstrated and showed his anger got him the first yellow card. Now, when you look at it, obviously, decision goes against you, you go hot and fiery and you're pissed off. Did Romero go too far to get the yellow card? Should he have just said, you know what, I'm pissed off, I've had my say, but I'm walking off now before I get myself booked on the captain?
That's saying Romero, is it?
Exactly. This is the other thing.
But it's also frustrating, isn't it? As you say, you've got a wrong decision against you, and you're the one. It's a double whammy. You're getting it's double jeopardy. Well, not double jeopardy. Yeah, double jeopardy. Like, you've got a wrong decision against you, and now you're getting booked for your troubles because you have the gall to complain about a wrong decision from the referee. So I feel for Romero in that moment, and a lot of players that happens to. That's a frustration I have, like when that happens. But end up costing us late in the game, which we'll get into. But to be fair to the team, 2-0 down and down to 10 men. By any stretch of the imagination, for most people, that's dead. That's the game dead. No chance you're getting back in it. You might as well not even attempt to. Game's over. But credit to the team, again, didn't give up, didn't accept defeat even in that moment. Defended Liverpool well. Again, I think Liverpool thought the game was done. So they were just hussing it around, didn't really go for that third goal, which they should have. But I thought the game did switch a bit once Richarlison came on, to be honest. I thought Rishi came on and changed the game. And I thought his hold-up play was exceptional. We were getting the ball to him. He was making it stick, winning headers, just making a nuisance of himself. We were getting the ball in the box, and he was just causing chaos. And that's exactly what we needed at the time, in my opinion. And obviously, the ball falls to him and get the goal. Bit of luck in it, but, got to take your chances. The ball falls to him and didn't need a second invitation. Puts it in the back of the net. All of a sudden, we're 2-1. With, I think it was 9 minutes added on with stoppage time. And you're thinking, wow, there's a chance here, because we were building momentum. What we were doing is very clever, just winning free kicks around the box, winning set pieces, making it difficult, just getting them on the back foot as any way we can, because when you've got one less man, it's going to be very difficult to get them on the back foot through open play. So anytime we could, just go down, get those free kicks, frustrate them. and just try and get them to defend. It reminded me very, very much of when Newcastle played Liverpool early in the season when they were down to 10 men for a large period of the game. They were just winning free kick after free kick and just kept them penned in and in their own way. And they ended up getting the equaliser, but before obviously conceding late on. So we actually were in a really good moment, and flashing crosses across the face of goal. Brennan flashed one across the face of goal. Odebear flashed one across the face of goal. Porro was getting in behind. So it looked like maybe we could get something out of this game. And also, I'd have to say we were defending with a lot of risk, I have to say, this moment, because we literally kept Van der Ven back by himself. Romero went up front, which he likes to do in these situations, as always. Brennan Johnson was doing some really good last man stuff as well, in terms of last man defending. He was getting back in position and doing some really good stuff. And then, 3 minutes in stoppage time, we earn a free kick in a dangerous position. We're like, all right, this is a really good opportunity here. And we somehow end up earning a free kick and earning a less man, going down to 9 men. Somehow a free kick to Tottenham in a dangerous position turns into Tottenham getting a man sent off. Absolutely bizarre. And it's another example of, just in this game, of Tottenham getting back in the game, getting credit, and shooting themselves in the foot. Again, Romero.
I mean, let's go from where you started with. Obviously, at 2-0 down. One thing that we could clearly hear, like I said, we had the headphones here during the game, just here. Ben and I don't have them on like you do, and you could hear the crowd. You could hear the crowd. Yesterday, the fans got right behind the team at 2-0. They were literally giving everything they could for the team, and they did respond. Now, obviously, I've been to a few games this season where we have been pathetic. I've been at a few watch-alongs with you where the output, the desire, the passion, the commitment, the fight had been pathetic. I can't fault the players for those efforts yesterday. They did fight. They were running their socks off. There was aggression, there was passion, there was desire, and they responded. And obviously, Richarlison took his goal well. It was a bit of a goal-mouth scramble. Goal goes in. Then, going forward, like I will say, Johnson, I agree with you. He did. It's not that he did a lot. He just seemed more balanced, and he was going wider and keeping Liverpool stretched. I mean, Kudus, I don't know what happened with Kudus in this game. He just wasn't himself. But then, like you said, we get a free kick in a very dangerous position, to be fair. And you'd be thinking right now, do you know what? If we get this free kick right and Romero's on that pitch with his aerial ability, set pieces, see what he did at Newcastle, we've seen what he's done at other games, he could be a real handful there. But he has a petulant lash out, just like Ben said yesterday. It's carbon copy, basically, of what Simeone and Beckham. It was just a little lash out, but like Beckham did, he did it right in front of the referee. And for your captain, when you're on a yellow card, you've got standards and responsibilities to show that you're the leader of the pack. It was a petulant little lash out that no matter what, with the referees that close, he's seen it. And there we go. It was down to 9 men. But we still created chances. And again, I still think, and we discussed this earlier, I didn't see it till I saw it here, but I didn't really see it properly till I watched Match of the Day. Brennan Johnson was blatantly pushed on that Odebear cross, wasn't he?
Yeah. I think
blatantly pushed with a lot more force than Romero was pushed by TK. There was a proper push on him. Nothing. And I think, do you know what? I reckon if we had 5-10 more minutes, or what, I think we could. I think if there was going to be another clear-cut chance, we would have taken it. But obviously, it wasn't to be, and it's another defeat. But like we said, I unfortunately was with Ben to watch live and up close that Nottingham Forest horror show. Is all I can say. Horror show from minute 1 to minute 90. Everyone said they want to see. We've had all week to work on Liverpool and focus on Liverpool. Obviously, the two red cards heavily impacted anything we were going to do. But whether you said you want to see a performance, whether it be more like the Brentford one, where clear attacking, front foot, blah, blah, or seeing a team actually fight and not give up, that we saw. We didn't see the pure attacking intent like we did against Brentford, like we did against Prague, but there was something to take from that game, as in the fight and passion. But I don't know why it is we can't get There's some players yesterday that played very well, and there's some players that you'd expect to play well that play really poorly. We can't get a run of consistency of the whole team turning up and having an identity, which is starting to be a big problem.
Yeah, and yesterday, look, the team got clapped off the pitch, even in a defeat, even though it's been our worst form at home in a calendar year in our history. You know, you wouldn't blame the fans to being frustrated even yesterday.
Yep.
You know, booing the team off, and another defeat, 4 wins in 2025 at home. You wouldn't have blamed the fans for voicing their frustration, but I think yesterday was another example of it showing that if the fans are smarter than just defeat equals bad, and we're gonna just abuse you, or we're gonna criticize you just because we lose. Like, they can see the difference between a team that's giving their all, not accepting defeat and going right to the last minute and not leaving anything out on the pitch, to a team that's just turning up, either expecting to win or not putting everything into that performance and limply going to defeat or a point. And that's been a lot of this season, unfortunately. But yesterday we did lose, but we lost going down swinging, going down fighting, and even with 9 men, could have got something out of the game. So credit to the players in that sense, albeit I say credit to the players, but also the players only have themselves to blame for shooting themselves in the foot, which they did do on a couple of occasions. Yes, well, more than one. So as much as I do want to praise the team in general and the squad in general for not giving up and being close in very difficult circumstances to getting something out of a game which looked impossible to get something out of, at the end of the day, it is another defeat. At the end of the day, we did shoot ourselves in the foot in this game. And we're now down in 13th. If Fulham win tomorrow against Forest, we're down in 14th for Christmas. The situation league-wise is getting worse and worse in terms of achieving anything close to what we want to this season. Van der Ven said just a few days ago, what's the goal? Finish top 4, top 5. Well, how far are we away from that now? We are currently, let me see the league table. How many points are we from 5th? So we're on 22 points. 5th is Liverpool on 29. So 7 points. 7? Yeah. 7 points is the gap. So that's getting further and further away. We've got Palace away next. I know Palace just lost 4-1 to Leeds, but that's not going to be an easy game. Then Brentford away, Sunderland at home, then Bournemouth away. Maybe we can get some results in those games, but nothing's a given at the moment. The football, apart from some isolated moments, has been largely very hard to watch. We're now starting to leak more and more goals. I think in our last 9 games, we've conceded like 15 or 16 goals in our last 9 games. So any kind of suggestion from Frank that we've tightened up defensively, I mean, I need to see evidence of that, to be honest, because I'm not seeing that too much. There's, as much as it was great to have a good performance yesterday, I was proud of the team. So I don't blame Frank for yesterday, to be honest. I don't think yesterday was on Frank. Yesterday was definitely on individuals. That was the majority on yesterday. But at the end of the day, it's still another defeat, and it doesn't really matter too much in this context who the blame lies. The reality is we're still losing. We still lost another game, and it's going to take a hell of a job to turn this around now.